Do we live in a hyperspatial universe, or are there parallel worlds, and are we just one that runs parallel to others that are independent of ours? Are we tesseracts living in a three-dimensional world thinking we are cubes when in actual fact we are something higher? And it goes back to the analogy or the demonstration, the very basic demonstration I did in the first video. And if you haven't seen that, I will have a link in the description for you to go and watch that. But we said that we live in a three-dimensional hyperspace, and there is a fourth dimension, the unseen one, which we cannot access physically. And the Bible alludes to this unseen realm. It's mentioned throughout the Bible about this unseen realm that is there. We know it's there. It's within our earth realm, but we cannot physically access it. And this unseen realm, the biblical definition or the church definition that was pushed out into the Christian world is about, we have this spiritual world, this ethereal world, this realm that is non-physical, immaterial, that runs independent, parallel but independent to ours. And it's a spiritual world with ghosts or angelic beings that are ghost-like, and there is no concept of time, there is no concept of anything there other than just floating around, and it's this abstract, ethereal type of realm or world. I challenge that concept, and obviously I used to be a believer of that, but I reached a point where I realized there's deeper understanding and meaning to the things, or that's actually laid out in the Bible, but we have been indoctrinated by concepts that were handed down to us. Now, I used to be a believer of the multiverse concept, but because I'm truthful and I want to remain truthful to myself and to my followers and to anybody that listens to anything I have to say, that I had to move away from that concept, because I believe it not only is it unbiblical, it's not even scientifically accurate or realistic. So I hold to the concept or the belief that we exist in a hyperspatial universe, and I believe that heaven, the angels, the angelic realm, the fallen angels, demons, spirits, human beings, creation, the earth, I believe we are all existing, or we all exist in this physical universe, which I believe the Bible calls all creation. All creation, Romans 8:19, is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. So I believe heaven has locality and physicality. Now, I can't tell you where heaven is located, but I do believe heaven is located within our known universe. I believe the angelic function within our known universe, but they enjoy extra dimensional realities or privileges, should I say, to us. So I know that's a very foreign concept and an anomaly from the mainstream Christian view, but stay with me on this ride. Fasten your seatbelt. We are going to go into a very interesting adventure. So, hyperspatial universe versus parallel worlds. Now, remember from this demonstration, so this is a three-dimensional hypercube. Now, if you look at this as a square in a 2D world, what we would call flatland, all right? Flatland. Now, this looks like a square, but in actual fact, it is a cube. So if I tilt it to a degree, let's say 33 degrees, you now get a deeper insight into a greater reality. You now perceive reality from a higher dimension. We have a three-dimensional hypercube, and we live in a 3D world. Our Earth realm is actually a four-dimensional world, but like I say, the fourth one we cannot physically access. So this is a 2D world. Now, it is a cube, but now imagine this cube is living in a 2D world. It lives in flatland, but it is a cube. It looks at itself in the mirror and it sees a square, and it thinks it's a square living in a 2D flatland world, but in actual fact it is a cube. And if it allows itself to think deeper or out of its current paradigm, it will actually realize or get a spiritual awakening that it actually is a cube living in a 2D world. So it's a cube thinking it's a square living in a limited paradigm. So now we can take it a step higher with the tesseract, which is a four-dimensional hypercube. So the question we could ask is, now let's personalize this in a human context. Could we be, or are we tesseracts? Are we four-dimensional objects or beings living in a three-dimensional world, thinking we are cubes, thinking we are three-dimensional hypercubes, where in actual fact we are four-dimensional hypercubes, tesseracts? So that is something to ponder on. We know that we have three dimensions within us. We have spirit, soul, body. So does this mean that the spirit and the soul are ethereal, ghost-like, immaterial things, entities? Or is it just that we are higher dimensional beings, we are cubes, but we're living in a 2D world, thinking we're squares when we're actually something greater?